I have killed so many. How could God forgive me?
Can Jesus' love forgive even the most vile of killers? Stay tuned. This is AWR 360. AWR 360 is in the Philippines. Agriculture makes up 1/7 of this country's economy. Many locals make a living selling a variety of fruits and grains from their fertile land. I am visiting the local market in search of some interesting native fruits. Many are unique to the Philippines. Soursop is uniquely spiky and tropical in flavor. It tastes great once you get past its appearance. This hairy-looking fruit is called rambutan. It looks like a child's toy. I was a bit skeptical about tasting it, but the vendor assured me it was good. I am glad I followed her advice and sampled it because I immediately fell in love with this fruit. Just like my experience in the marketplace, sometimes it takes someone else's help to guide us to something good. There is a story in the Bible about a man named Saul. He was an executioner for what he believed to be a good cause. But one day, he watched as Stephen was stoned to death, and he never forgot it. It changed his life forever. We are now on our way to meet a modern-day Saul. As we enjoy a scenic route through dense mountainside forests and through trickling streams, we soon reach our destination. Upon arriving, I am warmly greeted by Daniel and his family. They place a beautiful tropical flower in my hair. He then proudly shows me his radio, the tool that truly saved his life. As we step outside, he begins to share the story of his dark past.
I don't deserve it, but God has forgiven me.
At a young age, Daniel was trained to kill. His father was a commander of communist rebel soldiers, the New People's Army. His cousins and uncles were rebels too. In fact, nearly his entire family was part of this feared group. Daniel was born into this life. It was all he had ever known. He wasn't even a teenager when he made his first kill. Because Daniel did not hesitate to murder, he became the island's top hitman. Throughout the Philippines, he would hunt the people his group marked for execution. He was a messenger of death, always duty-bound to terminate everyone on his hit list. It became easy for Daniel to kill the corrupt politicians, policemen, rapists, and robbers. But there was one death that increasingly began to trouble his conscience. It was the order to kill a pastor who begged him for his life. Daniel showed no mercy. He could not. It was his duty to kill for the rebel cause. The more he killed, the more numb he became, never wanting to remember the faces of his victims, especially that pastor.
I can't even remember how many people I've killed.
One day, Daniel returned home to find his family listening to an unusual broadcast on the radio. His wife insisted that Daniel sit down and join them. The interesting thing is, he recognized the station to be Adventist World Radio. He knew other rebels who were also listening to these programs, and many of them were convicted to give up fighting and be baptized. This was the first time he really seriously listened to what the speaker was saying. He heard about peace and a loving Savior who would leave his 99 sheep to go back for the one that was lost. Daniel's heart softened, and in that moment, he understood. He was the one lost sheep. That's when Satan tried to undo all that the Lord had just accomplished. Daniel was informed that his closest cousin was killed in a skirmish. Rage was mounting in his heart, and he immediately vowed revenge.
He was my family and friend. I knew I had to kill again.
Upon seeing Daniel's rage, his wife knew what would come. She begged her husband to please stay and turned up the radio. The broadcaster spoke about a forgiving Savior. Daniel felt like the speaker was talking directly to him. His heart broke. Could Jesus really forgive his sins? In that moment, something changed. He cried as he understood that even though he was an evil man, God could still wash his sins away. As Daniel looked down at his innocent child gazing up at him, he made the decision to start a new life with his family.
Looking at my past, I know I am unworthy, but God still has forgiven me. Only He could change my wretched heart.
He studied daily with his wife and soon made the decision to be baptized. Daniel now feels the joy of being forgiven. Like Paul of old, for many years he lived and fought for the wrong cause until Jesus interceded and called him. Now a new man, he lives for Christ. Only through the miracle of God's love can a rebel executioner be forgiven and transformed. There are millions of people today who carry a heavy load of sin. They need to know that there is forgiveness in Jesus, that they can live a life free from the burden of guilt. What a privilege to be able to share this wonderful message of hope with others like Daniel around the world. Thank you for your support that makes this possible. We so appreciate you partnering with us in the greatest calling ever, the saving of souls. Working together, we can make a difference for eternity. From broadcast to baptism, this is AWR 360.